Chapter 2. Daniel Henson. Mum, Dad, can I ask you a question? Lydia asked. She speared 3 peas on her plate with a fork, careful not to look up. Go on then, Dad said. Lydia thought hard, searching for the right words to say without giving too much away. If someone told you that you had to do something and you didn't want to do it, would you still do it? That would depend on who asked me, on what they asked me to do, and why they asked me to do it, Dad replied wearily. Why? Lydia risked a glance at her mum and her dad. No reason, I just wondered, she shrugged. Mum gave Lydia a sharp look. Have you been offered something at school that you shouldn't have been offered? Of course not, Lydia said, shocked. You haven't had some strange person stopping their car and offering you a lift, have you? Mum asked quickly. Lydia stared at Mum. For goodness sake there, as Danny would say, take a chill pill, said Dad. Lydia has brains enough to know that she wouldn't accept lifts or anything else from strangers. Mum took a deep breath. So, what's all this about then, she asked. Her voice was calmer now. Honestly, Dad shook his head. It was just a hypothetical question, Lydia said. Then I would say that if you're not sure whether or not to do something, you should let your conscience decide for you, said Mum. Lydia considered. That didn't help her very much. Besides, it was too late to ask for advice now. What was done was done. So, how was your day, Lydia? Lydia chewed on her bottom lip and her head was bent over her dinner plate, so she missed the look which passed between her mum and Dad. Oh, it was all right, I suppose. You don't sound too sure. Dad raised an eyebrow. It's just that... It's just what? Dad prompted when Lydia said nothing else. It doesn't matter, Lydia sighed. Lydia, we know all this has been difficult for you, Mum said slowly. You've had to leave all your friends and your old school behind. And I know how happy you were there. It's all right, Mum. Honest, Lydia said. It's prettier up here than in London, and Colivale School is okay. Lydia hadn't meant to make her mum feel bad about moving to Torwich in Yorkshire. Mum had been promoted by her company, but the only snag was that a new job was out of London. Mum and Dad had said it was an opportunity it was too good to miss. So here they were, 3 weeks in Torwich, and only just beginning to get to know the people in the small town. Have you made lots of friends? Mum asked eagerly. Yes! Lydia crossed her fingers under the dinner table. I've got a new best friend, Frankie. I go round with her, and Maxine and Barty and Anne. And lots of others in the class talk to me. Oh, that's all right then, Mum smiled. Don't worry, Lydia, you'll still settle in. Pretty soon, you won't ever want to leave. My boss was telling me that Torwich is the kind of place that gets into your blood. Very few people move away from here. Lydia smiled weakly. She couldn't imagine why anyone in their right mind would want to spend their whole life in a place like Torwich. There was probably something very funny, peculiar in the water, which gave all the grown-ups brain fade or something. That would explain a lot. Danny, chew your food with your mouth shut, please, Mum said patiently. Lydia glanced at her brother with irritation. Danny smiled back at her and opened his mouth wider to display mushed up peas combined with bits of half-chewed sausage and mashed potato. It looked disgusting. Daniel Henson, that's quite enough of that, Mum said sternly. Yuck! It's enough to put you off food for life. Dad wrinkled up his nose. Lydia scowled at Danny. He was only 10 and already he was a serious pain. What would he be like when he was twice his age? Twice the aggravation? Lydia watched her younger brother wolf down his food. She was getting less and less hungry by the second. Danny, you're going to get raging indigestion if you carry on like that. Don't eat so fast, said Mum. But I have to, Danny protested. Why? Your food's not going to run away, you know, Dad said. I have to finish fast before I lose my appetite, grinned Danny, shoveling another forkful into his mouth. Mum and Dad looked at each other and burst out laughing. Danny, sometimes you talk some real foolishness, said Mum. And that's another reason I don't like it up here. Danny wrinkled up his nose. They all take the mickey out of the way I talk. They'll soon get bored of doing that, said Dad. Just be patient. And in the meantime, you can always tease them back about the way they speak, Mum winked. That hardly solves the problem, dear, Dad said mildly. Mum looked ashamed. True. Danny, just ignore what I said. I do that anyway. Danny shook out more tomato ketchup over his food. Less of that, you cheeky toad, Mum tweaked Danny's ear. And slow down. You won't lose your appetite before you finish your food, I promise you. Lydia looked at Mum and Dad and her brother Danny. For all Danny's whining, he was coping better with the move to Tarwich than she was. It was all so strange and new, and she still couldn't get used to looking out of her bedroom window and seeing the moors stretching out beyond the neighbouring houses towards the horizon. And in the still of the night, she could hear the river rushing and rumbling past their back garden. Lydia longed for houses, and yet more houses as far as the eye could see, and the rumble of traffic past their house. Not a river. She missed London terribly. Danny, I'm not going to tell you again, Mum said crossly as she continued to chew with his mouth open. Lydia glared at her brother, annoyed at having her reverie disrupted. Danny really was too gross. She looked down at her dinner plate again, her fork still in her hand. Lydia, is something wrong? Dad leaned forward. What? No, I'm fine. Lydia tried to smile, but her face felt as if it was twisting horribly instead of smiling. So she gave up the attempt. Are you sure? Lydia nodded. I think I'll go to bed early. I'm just a bit tired. But you haven't finished your dinner. I squeezed lemon juice over your peas and potatoes, just the way you like it, Mum frowned. No thanks, Mum. I'm just not very hungry, Lydia said. I don't know why I bother. I really don't. Mum sat back in her chair and I rush home to have dinner with my family, only to find out my daughter isn't hungry and my son, well, he eats like a cement mixer. Off you go, Lydia, while your mum is exercising her jaw. Dad winked. I heard that, Mum tweaked Dad's ear too. Lydia ran upstairs to her bedroom, flung herself down onto her bed. Everyone seemed so happy. Even Danny was settling down better than her. He went to a different school from hers, so she didn't even have him to talk to at break times. The school cup. Had she made the right decision? At that moment, it didn't feel like it, but Lydia suspected that no matter what she had done, she would have felt the same way. So much for letting her conscience decide. All Lydia wanted to do now was hide. Hide